Good morning, all, and thanks WRTZ for inviting me here. So first of all, I will try to introduce myself and my organization from where I belong to. So I'm Sudhir Pathak, taking care of the design, quality assurance, and the green hydrogen initiative in my company called Hero Future Energies. And it is a sister concern of Hero Group, an $18 billion organization and the world's largest motorcycle manufacturer for past several decades. So we are the renewable arm of Hero Group, and so we have more than 1.5 gigawatt of solar and wind portfolio in utility scale all across in India. We are headquartered in UK, and we have offices in London, Delhi, and Singapore. And we aspire to be 5 gigawatt in 5 different geographies in another 5 years. And we, as far as Rooftop is concerned, in both OPEX and CAPEX model, we have done almost 350 megawatt and more all across India. We have some wind plants in Vietnam coming up and in Bangladesh as well as in solar fisheries. In my personal capacity, I am having 27 plus years of experience in 90% in power sector, including NTPC and in thermal, and then Blanco, and then now Welspun, Acme, I was CTO, and now I'm here with Hero Future Energies. And about this topic, I'm really excited about because, first of all, I just wanted to throw upon that the reason behind why rooftop solar and the floating solar are being, you can say, merged together as a topic, which is really interesting. Because there are several commonalities between RTS and floating. If you just go through, like, in both the cases, we don't need land. And it is fundamentally top of the facility, like rooftop, it's top of the roof, and floating is on the top of the bed of the reservoir or any water body. And definitely, because we know that, especially in India, which is a huge population, land is scarce, so it is a better utilization of the surface. And in fact, it gives additional protection to the surface, like for the roof. It gives a direct kind of sun shading. For water, it gives a protection to the water, and even like you can save a lot of water evaporation, which can be utilized furthermore for the aquaculture and also for maybe for hydro. And yeah, the negative point is this: both the things are slightly difficult to access and maintain. That's what is a commonality. Yes, and one thing which is very important is both the segments are highly unutilized, untapped. So coming on, means I will focus more on rooftop, and if the time permits, I'll try to focus on floating. So that gives, like what Kushagra was trying to explain, that gives a very evident view. If you see this particular table, that utility was targeted for 60 and it achieved 52 by Q1 22, whereas RTS was targeted for 40, it is achieved only 7.6. So that's a glaring point for this segment. So although you can see the solar map, wherein the rooftop is being targeted for, it is taken from the Bloomberg. So that shows that it has humongous potential. We have almost, I think, more than 2 or 3 crores of houses all across India, a lot of C&I which is happening up, and with manufacturing in India as a Make in India initiative. So we expect it to be more. Just flipping it through for if somebody wants to know about that, there are different varieties of rooftop. Well, we say it's a shed type. When you put roof on the shed, we install modules like industrial sheds. Even RCC roofs are there, where there are like several companies which have RCC roofs. We can install them by using ballast or some kind of foundations. Even RCC sheds are there, which we have done in one of the projects in BHL Haridwar, where they have shed of RCC slanted. And definitely car parking is getting a lot of traction. So even today, we are working in London for one of the biggest hotelier We are developing the biggest car parking for them in UK. And BIPV is also an upcoming because of now we have a lot of flexible modules and glass-to-glass modules. So we can make it aesthetically beautiful, any corporate building. So we are working with one of the cement tier 1 manufacturers. We are trying to make their building as a BIPV. It's a niche segment. Okay, generation will not be much, but aesthetics as well as you can save a lot of energy inside. And containers, a lot of containers, even vehicles also, you can make it solarized. Even trains are being, in this process, trains' roofs are also getting converted. So typically, broadly speaking, even like Shah said about C&I, so C&I segment, which is as of now live and in huge traction for C&I rooftop per se, so that ranges from textile. Textile is humongous because textile is one industry which is non-polluting kind of. So it is very important wherever you are putting a rooftop solar, its ambience should be clear because it has two impacts. First of all, if it is emitting a lot of CO2 or whatever, or even dust, so it will create soiling on the model, which everybody understands. But the bigger issue is that whatever sun god is giving its rays on the system, it creates a blanket for the sun rays. So it is one of the perennial issues in the rooftop segment that whatever we estimate as a generation, typically P50, it hardly comes. That's why typically in rooftop segment, people go with P75 of numbers because of city issues and all those things. So FMCG, cement, pharma, IT, steel, auto ancillaries, even railways and DMRCs. So we have in DMRC in India, in Delhi, almost 80% has been done by Hero Future Energies, their solarization. Even educational institutes, universities, they are the huge guzzlers, or you can say huge takers of the rooftop. Hospitals, definitely, and government buildings. So benefits, I think everybody knows that, yes, there's no upfront cost to the customer. He does not have to, like it is scalable, he can plan it out, and net metering is possible. He can be a prosumer kind of. He can even export the grid, but to some limits. I'll come to it shortly. And definitely it's the cheapest source of electricity for him because it is behind the meter. And behind the meter, you do not have to pay any open access charges, any kind of CSS, and all those stuff. And so that you have the least cost of energy as far as this is concerned. No T&D losses, no dependency on broadly on the state discom, and that's the pain point for them. Definitely no land is required, so we have land in scarce. Definitely this is the important point for the challenges. Unlike utilities, since we are on both the facets, so in utility scale, you get a lot of tier 1 contractors who are ready to supply. They are bankable, and they have a huge quality. But the problem is that in case of rooftop, there are huge round of petty contractors. They are not bankable, and even monitoring them is a tough task. And they're widely distributed all across. So that's one of the pain points. And this model price, it's common for all, whether utility or this one. Commodity price has also increased just post-COVID. And several regulatory issues and challenges. I will just try to use one paraphrase like India aspire to be OSOWOG, or one sun, one world, one grid. I have been to several discussions over in several sessions. So that's the aspiration level. But when you come to the policies and regulations, so even it is not one state, one policy. Within state, within different discom, there are different policies of even net metering, of distribution transformer capacity, and what should be, what maximum we can evacuate. So in a way, from this forum, I can pitch for one India, one policy, or one sun, one India, one policy, kind of whatever acronym we can give. It's this is the biggest menace as far as RTS is concerned. And so, but yeah, they have their own challenges. I'll come to it shortly. GST, all we know. And so now the sixth point is actually a problem statement which has a lot of solutions underlying. So, like in case if I am a state regulator, if I allow every roof to put rooftop to their own capacity unregulated, then as a controller, I will have nightmare to balance the load and the source. So that's the problem statement. So if, like as Kushag was saying, that the solution lies in the next one is like, because we have to give breather to discoms. Yes, we can generate, but as a predictive load or predictive source. So like we talk a hell lot because 5G is now coming up. Is high-end digitalization is going to come up. I can see it because I'm thinking both utility and all, a lot of talks into complete digitalization, artificial intelligence in the utility scale, but it is fairly lacking in case of rooftop segment. Because there are a lot of pockets of rooftop installation, different IPPs, different developers, they're not talking to each other. When discoms also are not enforcing them to digitalize. So that's a pain point. So next point, this lack of digitalization is an answer to it. So regulatory is like, yes, as I told, even state and government policies are not consistent. They're not in coherence across the state because of concurrent subjects. So everybody's taking a ruling the roost. But there is a silver lining at the end of the tunnel that now we can see that things are coming up with central making the policies and states are falling in line slightly. And when I say static, so because like as we are promoters, we are IPPs, whenever we make any techno-commercial, techno-financial model, we think that, okay, these are our policies, these are our IRRs. But what happens whenever a state government changes in a state, they reverse the policies, even banking policies or even net metering policies, or so that becomes a real pain point. So from that perspective, frequent changes of eligibility limits and net metering, sometimes there, sometimes no. And third is like even the evacuation policy for states is varying. Somebody says whatever sanction load you have, you can do only 50% of that. Whatever distribution transformer capacity is there, limit to 80% of that. So like, so there should be single window, what I try to pitch from here. Like there, in this digital world, every state discom, every state government, even central government should have a common portal, single window, policies outlined, and what can be done, what not to be done, whom to approach, and then so that, and they should have a sustainable policy at least for 5 to 10 years when we typically get our payback period. So that is the biggest issue. Metering scheme, again, it's a menace. Even let me put out that it's not only government discoms, whatever private discoms are now coming up, they're also incoherent. They have their own policies and they're quite rigid. So we expected that if things are privatized, things will improve. So I can see that something is holding there itself. Approvals in delays, and yeah, CTPT metering, these are become like their approvals, their makes, these are all the pain points. The way forward is that, yes, they told one sun, one nation, and one policy, whatever code name we can give. There should be a common policy across state, across the country, and transparently available to all the users. And as we say that, like today, Mother Earth is giving as an SOS call to all of us, climate change all across globe. So before the Earth goes on the ventilator, so I think we have no time. We should humongously move on and keep the rooftop, and whatever way we can, solar, wind, whatever, even micro turbines are there. We can even use micro turbines on the roof and provide a higher quantum of generation. So we pitch that for 500 kilowatt and below, there should be deemed approval from CIG. It is as per CA regulation, but still being not followed by many discoms. And yeah, the smart metering, the special energy meters. So smart meters are very, very important. wherein we can connect all the system across through smart metering, and which can lead to the future technologies, or which is already on the paper, called virtual PPAs, and even blockchain. So like blockchain, we are hearing it for past several years, but still I think no IPPs have taken the strength to come up and implement that. Even virtual PPAs, we are hearing the policy is there, but there are some kind of pushback. Now to solve the DISCOM issues, we must have a distributed storage as well on like the C&I segments, even the domestic parts. This will be incentivized once we have a kind of a tariff arbitrage. Like in US, if you see the US market, they are like extremely innovative, because US tariff is all, you can say there is peak, off-peak, huge gap in the tariff as far as peak and off-peak is concerned. However, in India, still the gap is less. Few states are giving, few states are not. In order to make people invest into storage, even into distributed, this policy change is must. And DISCOM clusters should be formed, which can be digitalized. There should be automated energy management system. Like if my 33 by 11 kV substation breaker, nobody should go and trip themselves or do something. It should get automated. So that will make, once you see on the 30,000 feet, it will be automatically, data is going to the LDCs, SLDCs, a common control system. So I think I've done my rooftop. Maybe if time permits, I can take floating, but, right? So thanks from my side.